Hello everyone, welcome back on our channel Learn Logs. As you already know that we have started a video series for the preparation of ISTQB foundation level software testing, and up till now we are done with chapter number 1. From today we are starting the second chapter, which is about the testing throughout the software development lifecycle. So first of all, from this chapter in ISTQB exam we have 5 questions in total, and a very like a short trick for you. Just whenever after preparing for the whole course, maybe when you are trying to revise the content, then at the start of every chapter you have some definitions given. Just be sure that you know all of these terms. At least you can understand these terms, what they exactly mean, and because all these terms are covered during the relevant chapter. For example, chapter number 2 we have these many terms, and this all will be covered in chapter number 2. In chapter number 2 basically we have 4 main topics. One is software development lifecycle. We will see in detail. Those of you who have already worked in a software development company, or in a testing environment even, they know there are different life cycles, different project management techniques to finish the software. Like this could be a sequential or a kind of iterative as well, like Scrum, Agile. This we will see in detail in this chapter. Then the second about the test levels, like how many levels of testing, starting from the very basic module from the whole till the whole system, how many levels we have for the testing. So it is of level K2. I will repeat that K1 level means you need to learn the things, K2 means you need to understand, and in K3 you need to apply what you have learned. Then we have different type of testing. This topic will also be covered in chapter number 2, and maintenance testing will be the last topic. So let's start the chapter number 2 officially. What exactly means with the software development lifecycle model? Normally, this term software development lifecycle starts from like gathering the requirements, the business requirement, and then like you filter the requirement, you review them, you do the system design, then you start low level design, then coding, then testing, and the product is delivered. This whole is known as the life cycle of any software. So a software development life cycle describes the type of activity performed at each stage in a software development project, and how the activities relate to one another logically and chronologically. The term software development life cycle, a model which we choose for our any project, this we will see in few minutes. So this model will explain how different activities that we have seen in chapter number 1. Just remember, this particular development life cycle or software development life cycle will be focusing on the testing, like because we are doing a course of ISTQB, so we will be talking more about the testing. So how these different types of and activities of testing are linked throughout the life of a software, this will be discussed in detail in this chapter. There are a number of different software development lifecycle models, each of which require different approaches to testing. There are different lifecycle models are available. This we will see just like here over here in upcoming minutes, in few minutes, that how the software development lifecycle is being chosen for a particular project. So it depends which development lifecycle you will take. It depends on the nature of the project. So, software development and testing. It is an important part of a tester role to be familiar with the common software development lifecycle model so that the appropriate test activities can take place. Actually, testers should also know about the software development lifecycle. Why? Because during software development lifecycle we have different phases. For example, high level design, then you do coding, and then tester should on every, as we have seen in chapter number 1, tester should be involved as early as possible, known as the early testing principle, or a concept of early testing. So it is very important for the tester as well to know about the software development lifecycle. In any software development lifecycle there are several characteristics of good testing. How you can how your testing is compliant with the different models of software testing. This we will see. For every development activity, there is a corresponding testing activity. Just mark this line. It is very very important for ISTQB exam. For every development activity, there should be a, or there is a corresponding testing activity. Because for example, you are gathering the business requirement, it is a development activity, let you say, and you are writing a user stories. At the same time, your testing team should be involved to review these user stories. Are they ambiguous? Are they are they not clear to the developer? So that you can find the loopholes, you can find the missing requirements as early as possible during the software development lifecycle. Then your cost will be saved. Each test level has test objectives specific to that level. We will see in this chapter about different kind of test levels, starting from the testing of a very single module till the whole system, till the acceptance testing. Every level should have a testing activity. Test analysis and design, this we have seen. These are two activities of test process in chapter number 1. Test analysis and design for a given test level begin during the corresponding development activity. Like when you are analyzing a system, you should write the analysis, test analysis, test conditions. When you are designing a system, tester should also involve at that level to write the high level test cases. So testing is very important throughout the software development lifecycle. Testers participate in discussion to define and refine requirements and design, and involve in reviewing work products, requirement, design, user stories as soon as draft are available. As soon as draft are available from requirement, either from design, either from user stories, tester should be involved as early as possible in the software development, so that based on those requirements, based on the development activity, they can extract their test cases, they can review the work products. For example, work product can be a user story, can be a business requirement, can be a design, can be a code. So testers should review all of them and should find some loopholes or if something is missing. No matter which software development life cycle model is chosen, test activities should start in the early stages of the life cycle, adhering to the testing principle of early testing. So this is a very main principle of testing, early testing. So whatever software development life cycle you are choosing, just try to be sure the good development life cycle is which involves the testing as early as possible. The syllabus, we have different type of software development lifecycle, but this syllabus categorizes common software development lifecycle as sequential development model and iterative and incremental. Iterative and incremental are somehow same. I will explain you in detail, but just remember these two: sequential and iterative, in iterations, or you can say incremental. A sequential development model describes the software development process as a linear sequential flow of activities. Any sequential development cycle is a linear. You are starting from the top, you are getting the requirements, then you are designing your system. For example, you are testing it. It's a kind of in a sequence. So this means that any phase in the development process should begin with the when the previous phase is complete. Like you can in the it is it's a negative point of sequential model, that you cannot start the next phase. For example, the first phase is gathering requirement, the second phase is doing development. You cannot start the second phase, let's say development, until the requirements are not completed. Similarly, you cannot start the testing, the third phase, till the development is not being done. So but in real life there could be some exceptions, they could be overlapped, but it is a big problem of sequential model. In theory there is no overlap of phases, but in practice it is beneficial to have early feedback from the following phase. As you know, early testing is very important. Sequential model is not that good for the early testing, but it works somewhere. So what are the examples of sequential development life cycles? For sequential, we have two models. One is waterfall and the other one is very important, V model. So In sequential we will see basically two examples or two types of sequential software development models: waterfall and V model. What is waterfall? In waterfall model, the development activities like requirement analysis, design, coding, testing are completed one after another. In this model, test activities only occur after all the development activities have been completed. This is a negative, you can say, somehow a negative point of your sequential, your waterfall method, which is a type of sequential method. Just as the name suggests, it's a kind of waterfall. I will explain you here. You can say it's a kind of like waterfall. First of all, you are gathering the requirements, then you are doing, as mentioned in the course outline, system design or analysis. Yeah, you are doing the analysis and then you are doing a system design, you are doing the coding and then testing. So it is the problem, like it's a fall as the waterfall. Same, and till the previous phase is not done, you cannot jump to the next phase. It is a kind of problem with the sequential model. So in this model, test activities only occur after all the development activities have been completed. The next one is V model. It is just opposite to the, like it's a kind of sequential model, but actually what is the beauty of V model? It integrates that like anyhow fulfill the concept of early testing. V model test process, actually V model integrates the testing process with the development, and even in some cases some like there could be an overlap. So V model integrate the test process throughout the development process, implementing the principle of early testing. Further, the V model include test level associated with each corresponding development phase, with which further support early testing. This I will explain you shortly. For every development activity, there is a corresponding testing activity in V model. This I will explain you shortly. In this model, the execution of tests associated with each test level proceed sequentially, but in some cases overlapping occurs. Also, V model is a sequential model, unlike the waterfall model, but unlike waterfall model, it applies or it introduces the concept of early testing. In V model, for every development activity, we have a corresponding testing activity. How? I will explain you here. Just see, it's a very big V over here. Okay, so first of all, you are, as a product owner, you are gathering your business requirement. So for business requirement, just remember this phase, left phase of V is about the development activities, and this right side is about the testing activities. So now you are gathering the requirement, business requirement, and parallel to business requirement, you have a testing known as acceptance testing. Like user will give you some requirement, and when he or she or the company will accept the product, they will do the acceptance testing based on the business requirement. So V model introduces the early concept or concept of early testing. As soon as you get the business requirement, like review them, do the acceptance testing. After getting the business requirement, you basically have the system requirement. You like refine them. Business requirement are a kind of vague requirements or raw requirements. You refine them and you get the system requirement. A system designer or system requirement designer will extract the requirement from the business requirement, and for system requirement you have a level of testing known as system testing. This all level of testing we will see in detail in the topic number 2 of this chapter, test levels. Then after system requirements, you have a architectural design, also known as HLD. You can say high level design. And then for high level design, you can say a type known as integration testing. Here I have only used a symbol, integration testing. So as soon as you have a design available, a system level design or high level design or architectural design, you can start your integration testing, or you can at least write the test cases. You can review the design. Then you have a low level design, or you can also say sometime we call it detailed design. The above one was high level design or architectural design. The low one is low level design and detailed design. And for low level, we have a component testing, a test level known as a component testing, unit testing, module testing. This we will see in test levels. And then just at this point, you have a code, you develop it. So what is the advantage of V model? Although it's a sequential model, but it introduces the concept of early testing principle, which is very, very important as far as this V model is concerned. It introduces the complete concept of early testing and fulfills the basic principle of testing. So actually you can say V model is an adjustment to the waterfall model. V model is just remember this thing. V model is not an incremental model. It is not an iterative model. It's a sequential model, but you can say it's an adjustment to the waterfall type of sequential model. So but what is the disadvantage of sequential model? You will only get the final product once, acceptance testing. In iterative model, in Scrum, who are of you who are working in agile agile environment, or like they are following some sprints, they know that after some sprints or some weeks, you get a kind of product, a release, and then again a release, and then maybe after 1 year whatsoever you have planned, then you have the final release. But like it's possible in iterative models, but in V model or in sequential model, you can say you will only get a product once. So I hope you have understood this V model. Now we will go to the sequential model. Delivers software that contains the complete set of features, but typically require months or year for delivery to stakeholder and users. Like it delivers the whole product at once, but it take a lot of time. Customer or the stakeholder or user will see the product only once. Now we will go to the next topic, which is incremental development model, or you can say the first we have seen the sequential model, and now we will see iterative and incremental model. Now we will discuss about the incremental model, or you can say iterative model, how they work. So incremental development involves establishing requirement, designing, building and testing a system in pieces, which mean that the software feature grow incrementally. As the name suggests, it's an incremental model. With each release, for example, you have a project which is of 1 year, but every month you are introducing a new feature. You are introducing, like, you have 12 building blocks, for example, 12 months, 12 milestones, 12 building blocks. So incrementally every month you are increasing your product. It is your final product is increasing in step by step. So the size of these features increment varies, with some method having large pieces and some smaller pieces. Like it depends, like how you whenever you are introducing a new feature in an incremental model, this new feature could be a very basic function or could be a whole module. It depends like how you have planned your incremental development lifecycle. The feature increments can be as small as a single change to a user interface screen or new query option. Like in incremental model, every time your software, your product is growing, like new features are being added in incremental model. But each increment could be very short, could be very small, and could be very long as well. The other type is iterative development. And iterative development occur when group of features are specified, designed, built and tested together in a series of cycle, often a fixed duration. So actually you can see here is a difference between incremental and iterative. In incremental, normally we don't have a fixed duration. We don't have any fixed duration. But in iterative, we have very fixed durations, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. So it's a basic difference between incremental and iterative, although they are same in many ways, but this is the difference. And then even in incremental, incremental model, each time we are releasing like a building block which is the feature in the product. But in iterative, this could be we release like every month or whatever you have planned, but this could be not be a exact feature, complete feature, maybe it's still growing. So Iteration may involve changes to feature developed in each iteration along with changes in project scope. Each iteration delivers working software, which is a growing subset of the overall set of all features until the software is delivered or development is stopped. Like each time when you deliver a new release, whenever you deliver something, it's a subset of the whole product, and then in the end you will get the complete product. So there are normally some examples of iterative, or you can say incremental model. The first one is RUP, rational unified process. We call it as sometimes RUP or RUP. Each iteration tend to be relatively long, 2 to 3 months, and the feature increments are correspondingly large, such as 2 or 3 groups of related feature. Like rational unified process is, you have relatively long durations like 2 to 3 months, and then you introduce the feature. The one which is very famous in agile methods is Scrum. Each iteration tends to be a relatively short. Each iteration is relatively, you can say, it's not that big, it's very short. How is it? Hours, days, or few weeks. And the feature increments are correspondingly small, such as few enhancement or the 2 or 3 new features. Like compared to the rational, Scrum is of 2 to 3, you can say, weeks, or even few weeks, or even days or hours. In Scrum, those who are working in this domain, they know the agile method. You have sprint, you have user stories of 2 hours, 4 hours. So in Scrum we also get the new features, but they are relatively small. Then there is another technique which is known as Kanban. Kanban implemented with or without fixed iteration. Kanban could have a fixed duration or couldn't have a fixed duration, which can deliver either a single enhancement or a feature upon completion, or can group feature together to release at once. It could be a fixed duration, it couldn't be a fixed duration, it could be iterative, it could be incremental. So Kanban is also a type of this model. Then spiral involve creating experimental increments, some of which may be heavily reworked or even abandoned in subsequent development work. Like normally spiral method is used for prototype. Like you develop a prototype, you show it to customer, and customer tells you, I want this feature, it looks quite good, I don't want this feature. So some feature after the prototyping will be heavily reworked, like they will be developed properly, or even some are abandoned. So spiral normally is used in this technique. So now you know two software development life cycle models. The one is sequential, the other one is iterative and incremental. Component of system developed using these models often involve overlapping and iterating test levels throughout development. Like normally these these steps are overlapped. Ideally each feature is tested at several test levels. Test levels you will see in the next section, which is component level, then integration level, then system level, then acceptance level. So each feature is tested at all levels as it moves toward the delivery. In some cases, teams use continuous delivery or continuous deployment, both of which involve significant automation of multiple test levels as a part of their delivery pipelines. Sometimes each day we are introducing a new feature. At the end of the day, we do the automation to continuously test the new feature over the night. Maybe some of you who are working in continuous integration and continuous development environment, which is known as CI/CD, maybe you are familiar with this term. And then we automate our pipelines, and each day whenever new feature is developed, or every other day, then it is automatically tested. So we do the automation as well. Many development effort using these methods are also include the concept of self-organizing team, which can change the way testing work is organized, as well as the relationship between tester and developer. Like this is a beauty of iterative model, it is a beauty of incremental model. You have a team, you have a fixed duration sometimes, and then each time based on the previous result you can change your strategy. These methods form a growing system which may be released to the end user on a feature by feature basis, on an iteration by iteration basis, or in a traditional major release fashion. Either you are introducing your product as a feature by feature by feature, and in the end you will get the final product, or even you can also give a complete product. Regardless of the whether the system increments are released to end user, regression testing is increasingly important as the system grows. This we will see in section number 4 of this lecture. What is regression testing? Like whenever a new module is developed, this new module is tested, and this new module is tested with the remaining whole modules to see if this module has introduced or has regressed the other modules as well, to confirm it. So it is called the regression testing. This we will see in more detail. In contrast to the sequential model, iterative and incremental model may deliver usable software in weeks or even days, but may only deliver the complete set of requirement product over a period of month or even years. In sequential model, we only have a product once in a life cycle. When everything is done, you will see the product only once. In incremental model or in an iterative model, you will see the features every week, every day, every month, but the whole product will be delivered to you. Maybe it will take many months or even years. It depends how long is your project and how you have planned it. So the next section is about section same 2.1 is about the software development lifecycle models in context. This is very important for ISTQB exam. Software, how you will select which software development lifecycle you should choose. For example, you have to choose sequential model or iterative model, which tools you will use, you decide during the planning phase. Software development lifecycle model must be selected and adopted to the context of project. Just mark this line. It is very important for ISTQB exam. Normally this question comes 100% in the ISTQB foundation level exam. Because the software development lifecycle is always being chosen on the context or the nature of your product and product characteristic. An appropriate software development lifecycle should be selected and adopted based on the project goal, the type of product being developed, business priorities, time to market for example, and identified product and project risk. For example, the development and testing of a minor internal administrative system should differ from the development and testing of a safety critical system such as an automobile brake system control. Another example, in some cases organization and cultural issues may inhibit communication between team members, which can impede iterative development. This I will shortly explain you what exactly means. For example, you are a team of 3 people and then you have to develop an app. So maybe you think initially you all will work on getting the requirement, then you will do a design, then you will code and will test together. So you think that sequential model suits us. All of us will be involved in requirement, then in design, then in coding, then in testing. So you will go with a sequential model. Let's say you are developing an engine control unit, or as mentioned in ISTQB, like we have seen, a brake control system. Then it could take some time. It's a safety critical system. You cannot take the risk. So starting from the requirement, you have a testing team which is reviewing the requirements. Then you have system designer has designed the system. You are reviewing the design. Then there is a low level design as per V model. I am giving you an example. You are reviewing the model. Then there is a code. You are reviewing the code. So it's a very critical system, it's a safety critical system. It can cause life to somebody. So you have to be very careful. In this case, you think, oh, I need testing from the very early stages of the life of the software development life cycle. So I will go with the iterative model maybe. So it's always a project dependent. It's depend on the context of the project which model you are gonna choose. Depending on the context of project, it may be necessary to combine or recognize test levels or test activities. Like whenever you have chosen a development lifecycle, then you can choose either I need to test the whole system in a system testing and then acceptance testing, or should I test the system on each level. Like for example, if a system is critical, then you should test it on component level, then integration level, then system level, then acceptance level. So it depends on the model which you have chosen, how many levels will you achieve. For example, for integration of commercial off-the-shelf COTS software product into a larger system, the purchaser may perform interoperability testing at the system integration test level. Like what does it mean by interoperability? Like it is a term basically which is like I will give you an example. What does it mean by commercial off-the-shelf COTS? Let's take a very simple example to make it clear. You have developed a complete, you can say, your website which is a which is a website to purchase some clothes, let's say. And then a paying method, you can say paying method, sorry for the bad handwriting, and cart. You have purchased a third party app which will handle all the issues related to the purchasing, to the cart and everything, to the what how you will pay, your paying system, everything. So you have integrated your whole app with this third party app. Now here you will do the integration testing. You will see either the API is being called properly, every function is being called properly. So like it is a kind of integration testing. Okay. And the acceptance test level, functional and non-functional, along with the user acceptance and operational testing. This we will see in detail, what is functional testing, what is non-functional testing, in section number 3 of this chapter. So depending on the project, what you are what you are doing, what is your product, you choose your software development lifecycle, and based on that you decide which level of testing. Should I do every level of testing, or should I perform only the integration and something like this? In addition, software development lifecycle model themselves may be combined. It's a very important point. Depending on the project, maybe your software development lifecycle is in the same project, you are using iterative plus sequential. For example, V model may be used for the development and testing of the backend system and their integration, while an agile development model may be used to develop and test the front end user interface and functionality. It is quite possible. It is very important for the ISTQB exam as well. It's quite possible that you integrate two different models, one from sequential, one from iterative, and you merge them together in one single project based on your requirements. Prototyping may be used early in the project with an incremental development model adopted once the experimental phase is complete. Maybe you can introduce, for example, a spiral method to do the prototyping, and then you went with the V model for the early testing principle and iterative during the development phase. It's quite possible. You can actually merge, or you can combine the different models. Internet of Things, for example, system, which consists of many different objects such as devices, products, services, typically apply separate software development lifecycle model for each object. Those of you who are already familiar with IoTs, this is an era of IoT. In IoT, you are connecting everything with the internet, and you need some Bluetooth technology, and there are some different devices, different products. So maybe you have a vast project, and based on that you need different software development lifecycle models. So it is an example of like how you combine different models. This present a particular challenge for the development of Internet of Things system version. Additionally, the software development lifecycle of such object places stronger emphasis on the later phase of the software development lifecycle after they have been introduced to operation, operate, update, decommissioning, like whatever software model you have chosen. Then after some time, you have, like when the software is released, then you have to do the maintenance. You have to, like after some time, the product will be retired, like decommissioning. Like it always, like you have to think whenever you are choosing a software development lifecycle model, you have to keep in mind all of these points. Reason why software development model must be adopted to the context of project and product characteristic can be, what are the reasons? Difference in product risk of the system, complex or simple. If you have a simple project, you think I will do it in 2 weeks, go with a sequential. But you think a system is complex, safety critical, risk critical, then maybe you can go with the iterative. Many business units can be a part of a project or program, combination of sequential and agile development. Like you have different business units which are being merged in a complete project. Then for some you need a sequential model to develop them, and for some development you need agile development method. Shorter time to deliver a product to the market, merge of test level and integration of test type in test level. You have very short time, for example you have very short time to release the product, then you went with a sequential model and you think I don't need the component testing, I will directly do the integration and acceptance testing, or system or integration or acceptance testing, whatever you want. So this, like, or based on that you can choose your software development lifecycle model. So friend, this was everything for this video. In this video we have covered in detail about the software development lifecycle models. Now in the next video we will cover different level of testing. As I have explained you, we have a different kind of testing. Like the one level is component, The next level is integration. Then you will get the system testing. Then you will get the final, which is known as acceptance testing. And after that, our testing levels will be completed. The third uh, topic of this chapter is about test types: functional testing, non-functional testing. Then we will see what is white box testing, what is the change related testing. Over here we will also cover regression and confirmation testing. And then the last topic of this chapter is maintenance testing. It's also very important for ISTQB exam. So in this video we have covered topic number 1 of chapter number 2. In the next video we will see about different level of testing. I think we have to make 2 separate videos for the test level because it's a big topic. So friend, this was everything for this video. If you like our video, don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Kindly share it with your friends as well. If you have any doubt, any query, put it in the comment section. I will thank you again to watch this video. Thank you video team as well, and I wish you very good luck for your ISTQB exam preparation. Until the next video, have a nice day and bye.